under 10.5 on the line.
You have to be the biggest, dumbest idiot.
Josh Allen inside the 10, inside 5, touchdown, the game over.
Going into the draft, I was a big Penix guy. I'm still a big Penix guy.
Rashee Rice is way ahead of schedule in his ACL rehab, which is good news for his fantasy managers because the Dallas court system is way behind schedule. That's also good news for local comedian Miles Francis. Oh, hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him, and today we are going to go over the 5 guys I cannot stop drafting in fantasy football. Of course, talking about best ball fantasy football, which is what we're drafted on right now. Obviously, we don't have any home leagues going on right now, but I am here to prepare y'all for your home leagues. And if you want to try some best ball, use promo code JAMJKSHB. You'll get a little tasty treat whenever you sign up for the first time for these best ball fantasy football drafts. Doesn't really matter if you don't know what those are. The only thing that matters is I'm going to give you some good darn values. Last year for this episode, I gave you Xavier Worthy. I got one rookie wide receiver on this one. So let's dive right into it. My top 5 guys. And I wanted to do this on the Underdog channel. And I don't know if they're just not getting my emails. Maybe it's going to spam. I know Gmail has been a little bit more strict about those spam emails lately. That must be why I haven't gotten invited onto that show yet. But I'm going to hit all my picks this year, send this video in. They're going to get me on with the dogs over there on that YouTube channel. So if you like those videos, you should love this one, especially with all the tasty treats I am going to give you. I am going to go in my favorite to least favorite of my top 5 picks in fantasy football, trying to spread it across all position groups. And we're going to get right into it with my favorite pick. My guy, I cannot stop drafting unless I draft Brock Bowers in the second round. George Kittle, San Francisco 49ers. He was essentially tight end 1 overall last season. He was an average points per game. When you add all the points together in half PPR, I think he missed out on tight end 1 overall to Brock Bowers by like half a point. It was like 1 reception he missed Bowers by. Now all of a sudden, we have no Debo, no Ayuk. And every single game that Kittle did not play with one of those guys last year due to injury or whatever, did pretty darn well. Like I said, he finished the tight end 1 essentially overall. I am currently fading Ricky Pearsall even before the news that he's injured, I guess with the hamstring that held him out late last season. That's severely concerning because that means that was a pretty severe hamstring injury, or he has something entirely different. We don't know yet. The way I'm sitting right here, you'll probably know kind of when I post this episode. I'm sure Shanahan's going to give us an update on that injury. Obviously, he lies about injuries all the time, so maybe who knows? We'll at least know the body part that we're dealing with, and if it was a past injury or a new injury. Either way, not good vibes coming out of Ricky Pearsall. I was somewhat of a fan of Ricky Pearsall last season. I did not think he was the best white wide receiver on the draft class last year. Obviously, Ladada McConkey was way better than him, and he should have been drafted here instead of Ricky. If you're looking for a white receiver, I think the 49ers obviously fumbled this one. Again, we don't want to get too upset about him because he did get shot before the season last year. Not the only guy who's gotten shot in the NFL that we'll be talking about today, by the way. So I liked him. I didn't think he was a first-round pick. He was drafted in the first round. I get it. People are excited about him, especially if you liked him pre-draft. But I'm going to stick to my priors. I'm going to say Ricky Pearsall is good, not great. And I think a lot of these targets are going to go to Kittle. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey being all the way back this year, in my opinion. And Jauan Jennings. I like all 3 of them. I do not like Ricky Pearsall at cost. Bowers is going middle second round. McBride, who can't score touchdowns, is going third round. and you can pick up George Kittle in the 4th round, 3rd tight end off the board, and he's my favorite to finish tight end 1 overall. So, of course, I cannot stop drafting George Kittle, who is a wrestling fan. Moving on to number 2 on my list of 5 guys, I cannot stop drafting Jaden Higgins out of the Texans, and it's just a good cost value situation here. We were big fans. We were one of the first people to tell you about Jaden Higgins in the pre-draft process this year. We thought we were so smart. We thought we were going to be the only ones knowing about this diamond in the rough, Jaden Higgins. Turns out pretty tough or pretty easy to find a 6'4", 440-yard dash diamond, no matter how tall that grass is. A lot of people liked him, including the Texans. They take him in the 2nd round. I thought he could have snuck into the 1st round. I'm sure a couple of teams were looking at him in the end of the 1st, in that neck of the woods. I think, and I'm not trying to be hot takey here, that Jaden Higgins is a much better pure wide receiver than Travis Hunter. And we don't have to worry about Jaden Higgins playing corner. You can draft Jaden Higgins after Travis Hunter. He's 6'4". He's over 200 pounds. Can't say that about Travis. So, in my opinion, I think he's a way better fantasy asset than Travis Hunter, no matter what the format is, unless you get like 24 points for a pass breakup in your crazy-ass league. So it doesn't make any sense that Travis Hunter is going that early. It doesn't make any sense that Jaden Higgins is going that late, because it's the worst kept secret in the whole NFL that Jaden Higgins is going to be walking into the number 2 role there, next to Christian Kirk, next to Nico Collins, 2 of the most fragile football players in the NFL. And I know, I get it, we don't try to predict injuries in fantasy football unless you're talking about Saquon Barkley. Then I guess this season you're allowed to predict injuries. Only with Saquon Barkley, though. But anyways, Jaden Higgins playing next to a couple of fragile lads. And, of course, Noel, his former teammate or past teammate, college teammate for the Iowa State Cyclones or whatever the hell they are. I don't think he'll be super relevant, Noel. I do think Jaden Higgins is going to be ultra relevant. And you're getting him so late in these best ball drafts. He's currently drafted at wide receiver 52. Wide receiver 52. He's the number 2 wide receiver for what I think is going to be a pretty decent offense, even if it doesn't improve massively off of last year's performance. If it gets a little bit closer to rookie year out of CJ Stroud, Jaden Higgins is going to be an absolute smash. He's got that wide receiver 1 upside when Nico does go down. Like I said, in the past 3 seasons, Christian Kirk and Nico Collins have combined to miss 30 games. 30 games these 2 have missed. So if they miss a few games here and there, I'm not super concerned about that tight end room. Nick Chubb is there. They're probably going to run the ball a little bit more this year, but I think that'll help Jaden Higgins more than anything. In pre-draft, he checked all the boxes, metrics-wise. His film was insane. If you just turn on his every target film, looks like a highlight film. Just every ball that goes to him, he catches it. And why wouldn't he? He's 6'4", runs a 4.40. He's got that long stride, that breakaway speed, and he's got enough to separate. And he's 6'4", so you bet your ass he can make those contested catches. He's got all the makings to an NFL wide receiver, and he's going to do it. Tasty treat on top of that. Trey Harris going in about the same round, about 5-6 picks, depending on the format after Higgins. So if you miss on Higgins, get yourself some Trey Harris. Thank me later. Moving on to a quarterback, number 3 on my 5 guys I cannot stop drafting in fantasy football. And it's just another value add I got here for Justin freaking Herbert. And why wouldn't I? I just mentioned Trey Harris. Ladada Mahonkany is going to be his number 1 wide receiver again, unless Trey Harris takes over, which he might. They've got a handful of great, solid tight ends there. And they just added Amarian Hampton to the running back room, who he can catch passes. So I'm expecting a massive upgrade in this offense. And I think Justin Herbert's going to do better as long as he stays healthy. He's currently, Justin Herbert, being drafted QB 17 right now. Week 8 on last season, when Adam Honkany started coming on, he was QB 7 in fantasy football. So the second half of the season, he was QB 7. You can get him at QB 17 right now. Quick maths. Seems like a pretty good value to me. He's going behind J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy, who hasn't played football in a year. J.J. McCarthy, who, as far as I'm concerned, probably doesn't have very good rushing upside coming off of his knee injury, where I think he had like multiple surgeries over the offseason. He gained 50 pounds. He lost 50 pounds. Now he's got chubby cheeks again. I don't know what's going on with J.J. McCarthy, but you know who did play football pretty darn well last year, especially in the second half of the season? Justin Herbert. J.J. McCarthy was on the sidelines watching Justin Jefferson catch balls from another quarterback. He's not even on the team anymore. So, and their actions, they kind of point towards the talking about the Vikings again here with J.J. McCarthy, that, hey, they were looking for other options. It's just they didn't get a cheap enough option. They still might. I mean, maybe Kirko ends up over there. Who knows? But allegedly they were in the running for a couple of quarterbacks. Couldn't make it work with those quarterbacks. So taking J.J. McCarthy ahead of Justin Herbert, not a good decision, if you ask me. All right. Now we're going to go into the veterans. We got a couple of young guys there for you. We're going to give you an old, I wouldn't say gross, very inexpensive, very cheap, old wide receiver. And he's on the best passing offense in the NFL last year. I think it will be again this year. Less target competition for DeAndre Hopkins. He's 33 years old. All right. So you can hold your commenting fingers to yourself. He's being priced like he's retired, though, and he's not. He's on a football team. He's on the Baltimore Ravens. Wide receiver 77. He is being drafted at. So quick maths, that's round 16. You can draft DeAndre Hopkins. He'll probably go undrafted in a lot of your leagues. So if you draft like a guy who ends up on IR, or you use your defense for however many rounds you have, your second last pick for your defense, take your last pick on DeAndre Hopkins, because he's going to be on the Baltimore Ravens. He hopped teams last year. He's going to be on the Baltimore Ravens the entire season last year. And I get it. Lamar Jackson won the MVP in the regular season last year. I don't think that gives Lamar Jackson nearly enough credit for how good he was. EPA per dropback last year was insane. Passing efficiency was insane. The low turnover worthy throw rate out of Lamar Jackson was insane. He had one of the best regular quarterback seasons in NFL history last year. And it's like, we're kind of bored about it. DeAndre Hopkins still got a little bit of juice. I get it. Matt Harmon or whatever said that DeAndre Hopkins was washed like 5 years ago. That guy doesn't know wide receivers. I get it that he charts a bunch of stuff and he's like a nerd and he's got like a lot of following and whatever. He doesn't know wide receivers. Look at his track record the past few years. He's losing it. Matt Harmon, I'm sorry about it. He's losing it. And I don't read the articles. It probably goes more in depth and people just kind of screenshot the damn whatever, the route tree stuff. But anyways, he's on a good team. He's in a great situation. And he's still got a little bit of juice, especially catching touchdowns. He caught 5 touchdowns last season. So in best ball, that's a massive value because you don't have to start him. But he could be a sneaky little flex start for you here and there, depending on what happens. Yeah, Zay Flowers, a lot of people fading Zay Flowers for good reason. He's a small-timey lad, so he's going to get kept off the field on passing situations inside the red zone. In the best ball fantasy format, he is being drafted in between De'Ami Brown and Darius Slayton, who those two combined for 3 touchdowns last season. DeAndre Hopkins had almost double that. He had 5 touchdowns last season. So if you're just searching for touchdowns, you like touchdowns, you like winning fantasy football, in best ball, and if you have deeper leagues, you're starting 3 wide receivers, or you have 2 or 3 flex spots,
DeAndre Hopkins. He still got the juice, and he could catch like 8 touchdowns this year and just be an absolute value there in round 16. And we know Darius Slayton and De'Ami Brown. We know who they are. They're not world beaters. I'll tell you that much. Moving on to number 5 on my list of guys I can't stop drafting. I gave you 4 excellent names already. None of them have been running backs, and I like a lot of those middle running backs. I like a lot of the early running backs too. The running back value this year, I think, is just as good as it's been in the past year. Obviously, last year we saw Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry fall into like the 2nd, 3rd round or whatever in a lot of your drafts, and that was pretty silly. This guy is a little bit of a deeper pick, but I love him. Brian Robinson for the Washington Commanders. Now, first of all, it's a safe pick, right? Because he finished running back 28 in average points per game last year. He's being drafted at running back 29. So if he just repeats on his performance last year, you're like, hey, fine, I got a great flex option at running back. Last year, however, he had his best season for yards per carry, which was pretty good. It is a contract year for him, so he has all the motivation in the world to perform as best as possible. And last season, in an awesome offense, he only had 8 touchdowns. So that's your upside argument for Brian Robinson. Is he was in a great offense last year. He's still going to be in what we project to be a great offense. Sophomore slumps happen. I don't think it's going to happen to Daniels. I think he's a different type of fella, and the only thing that's going to keep him off the field is injuries, which he stayed healthy last year. Brian Robinson, if he just falls into the end zone 3 more times, 4 more times, we're drafting him way, way higher. And where he's going in drafts, he is the last true running back 1 that you can draft, like the true, I would consider somewhat of a bell cow. Now, his total carries haven't been super gaudy in the past few years. He's had a little bit of injury concern. I think if he just stays healthy this year, he looks like he looked before he got shot in camp. The reason he got the starting position in the first place and then regained it once he came back from getting shot in the butt twice by a gun. I think Brian Robinson, this could be his year, and I think he could easily sneak in to the top 24. I think he could, if he had a couple of things fall his way, he could definitely be top 12 running back in the league. Good offense, good player, good situation. Eckler aging again. Brian Robinson, my number 5 guy I can't stop drafting. So starting at the bottom, going up, running back Brian Robinson, DeAndre Hopkins, a couple of sleeper picks there for you. Justin Herbert, just a value quarterback that you can just wait on most of your leagues. QB 17 could be a QB 2 for you, depending on the way you're building your roster and your format of your league. Jaden Higgins, sure thing, definitely going to hit. Draft him as much as possible. And same thing, George Kittle. Only thing getting in those guys' ways is injury. Other than that, I guarantee Kittle, Higgins, and Herbert, they're going to smash this year if they stay healthy. And then league winners potentially, I would consider Hopkins and Brian Robinson, some sleepers that I have a pretty good amount of confidence in. Thank you guys for watching the show. My name's Jamie Jakes. Please subscribe to the channel. We're going to do some rookie running back recap, rookie wide receiver recap, quarterback recap. Keep you guys up to date and ready to go for this fantasy football season. We're excited about it. Thank you. Good night.